OTA versus this OTA?
Just being in the system a full year, just the things that we have to learn, the techniques that we have to learn, the scheme, the verbiage, all those things were new to pretty much everybody that was here. So just being in the system a year, I can definitely speak, just from my position, that it's just a lot easier, a lot calmer. It gives you a chance to not worry about those small details that that you really have to look at when it comes to learning this defense, because once you've been in a year, you kind of see it, so now you can start looking at the next team, anticipating more. So I would say that's probably the biggest key, just being more comfortable and knowing more about this defense.
Did it make it easier for you to train, because going into last season, kind of changing things up? And how did that change for you?
I would say it made it a little bit easier. One, because the way we do our drops. Like I said, some of the coaching changes, some of the different things have a lot of different techniques. So you're trying to figure out how do you want the coach, how you want to be coached to do it, figuring out different ways you want to try to do it. And now that like I said, we've been through it a year. We know what to do. We know how to drop. Now it's like, what can I get my eyes to next? What can I look at to put me in a better position before the ball snaps?
Well, this time last year, I think, was when you had lost a ton of weight, right, to play, or right around training camp. So, having played the whole season at that weight, were you happy with it? Did you change anything as you prepared for this year? Any adjustments?
No, I didn't change anything. My weight's been pretty steady since that time. Still around the same weight. So, that kind of was the main focus, but not too much. That was just something that you got to do as a professional athlete. I've just been focused on getting, like I said, getting back in the playbook. Really trying to fine tune my details on small little things that I can get better at.
CJ, you've been here for 3 years now. You've seen a lot of different changes. How do you feel about the direction the organization's going in, and kind of this way this offseason has unfolded?
I feel very good about it. Feel encouraged, and everybody's ready. When you get to a point where you feel like you got all the right pieces, you did all the right things to get to where you feel you need to be as far as your expectation. The next thing to do is just go out there and show it. So we got to take our time, take each step one day at a time. But when that time comes for training camp, we're really going to be out there trying to prove to ourselves what we're capable of, and everybody's looking forward to it.
Are these teams ready to win?
Yes, I mean when you come here, you come to the building. That's your mindset. That's why you come here to work is to win. So, like I said before, if you're not coming here to do that, then what are you here for?
You've been here for 3 years, but did you have any reaction when the schedule came out? Week 1 was Baltimore.
Honestly, I really didn't. Friends and family was a little excited. Was very excited, especially it's going to be a home game. So same way when we had home opener with the Ravens, we had the whole family there. It's going to be the same anticipation. But for me, it's not as exciting. It's been, I guess, going on 4 years now since I've been with Baltimore. So all the anticipation of playing them again, it's it's going away a little bit. But like I said, our main focus is to go out there. Obviously, it's a long way away, but to win the game. It doesn't really matter if I have the best game of my career or not. But if you come out there with a W, that's going to be the most important part.
Coach Chad expressed a lot of confidence in your teammate Quincy Williams, becoming potentially a Pro Bowler this season.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him in the past year and so far in the offseason that gives you that confidence that he can take the next step?
The main thing is him talking, being more vocal, communicating. Me and him having great communication on and off the field, and I think that's going to really be his next step to evolve into a great linebacker. Being able to make checks on his own, being able to see key reads, be able to look at different things, and give me a holler if he sees something, or if he gets to the sideline and he sees something that doesn't look familiar, something that we haven't seen, an unscouted route. We can talk about it on the sideline. So I think that's the next level, for him and for everybody that's involved in our defense, because a lot of things that we do, we have to make adjustments on the sideline. We have to talk about it. Even at practice, we get, we call it pencil scripting. The offense, make plays that we don't go through. So, when we're on the sideline, sometimes in practice, we got to talk about formations, knowing the name of the formations and adjustments. So that's the next step for us.
With Quincy Williams, he did an interview recently, I think, with the Jets website, where he talked about maybe not always going for the big hit and trying to get more turnovers. We know he's a big-time hitter. You had touched on that a little late last year about him. What are your thoughts on that?
That just goes with the recognition, eyes before feet, and that's one of the things that he's been working on. With our tracking, getting on the near hip, and that's going to put you in play for those type of bang bang plays, whether it's a big hit or being in position to get an interception or a tip ball. And he's been working hard on that all off season during OTA. So the way he's working and the way we're coached to run to the ball and track and get on the right hip and all those good things. I think that's just gonna happen over time with him going into the season.
The front office obviously brought in a lot of guys in the secondary. Just from your standpoint, having that experience behind you, how does it change what you do in the middle of the field, and how does it maybe make it easier?
Well, I say it'll make it easier because you don't have to really worry about what the next man's doing. You can focus more on your job. When you have a secondary that's smart and that communicate, that loves talking, and we got a bunch of playmakers. So far, we've probably had 2 or 3 times more interceptions and forced fumbles and batted balls than we had last year around this time. So that's very exciting to see when the ball goes up. You see the green jerseys come down with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
CJ, you said when you get to training camp in the regular season, this team shows what it's capable. What do you think this team is capable of?
I really think this team is capable of changing their culture for the next 10 years. A lot of guys on this team and a lot of coaches that are coaching for this team now, since they've been alive, they haven't heard a lot of good things about the Jets. And now we have the narrative, we have the chance, we have the ability, et cetera, to really change that mindset, that frame, for the next 10 years and for the future of this organization. So the things that we do now, is important now. It's going to be important for this season, but what we do now is going to lead to the future success for, when I'm done playing here, when the rookies are 4 or 5 years, hopefully still with the Jets, still being successful. So it's a big picture, but small picture. Look what we do now is going to, affect all of our futures.
CJ, during the offseason, I know your cap hit for this team is one of the highest. I think it is actually the highest on the team. Was there ever any talks between your reps and the Jets about potentially extending that or doing some things with it to move some money around to free up some space?
Honestly, my focus has been all football. So if that comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I'm gonna still have the same mindset when I walk in the building. So I'm here to win.
You touched on the schedule with the Ravens, but what did you think when the first 4 games of the AFC North?
I got a reaction from that. I was like, well, it's like I've been playing, like what I've been playing every single year. So that's actually pretty cool to me. Obviously, coming from the AFC North, I'm real familiar with some of the players on all the teams with the play style and all that. But like I said, at the end of the day, that old ship has sailed. New opportunity with us. Gladly, able to share, all the information that I have when we go against these opponents. We have some former teammates from some of those teams. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to show what we have, especially early in the season. A lot of teams are still trying to figure out their scheme, figure out who's the best at their position. So I think it's a chance for us to really show what we have, and we can really start off the season fast.
This might be a tough one, CJ, but you've been around for a while, so I'm curious your perspective. This time of year, there's always a lot of hope with the rookies and then the draft picks. I mean, you've seen some of the guys who didn't make it. They're all very talented. Is there something that separates the guys who make it and don't make it from those really talented high picks?
I would probably say it's more like a mental toughness thing. There's no matter what level you play football, there's going to be a physical part that you have to overcome, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on the field. But that mental aspect, because when you're in college, you got school, you got football, you got school. When you get to NFL, this is your job. It's all football, like all day, every day. When you're not at work, you probably getting some kind of treatment, watching film, doing something. But besides that, it's all ball. So some guys can kind of get lost in that when it comes to finding that fine line between work and real life and work, when to do things. And especially as a rookie, if you participating in the combine, you're doing all those things. That's really a year round of football. So I think the mental aspect of it, as far as the game, and the young guys really know how to take care of their body, mentally and physically. That's probably the biggest keys for the rookies, getting that first year jump.
You talked about the weight loss and how you adjusted to the new scheme, but what about the scheme? Because you were a 3-4 inside linebacker for a long time, in the 240 to 250 range, stack and shed, all that stuff. How has your transition gone? How is your comfort level in a totally different system a year into it?
Well, every time I get that question, I always pretty much get the same answer. You know, when you start off with one defense, but at the end of the day, you've played every single scheme of defense. You know, with the Ravens, it was more of a downhill mechanics. And, you know, us, obviously with us, it's more a little bit sideline, but still downhill because we have our defensive line doing most of the, you know, the vertical rush game. But, you know, they're just part of the business. You know, offense every year is going to do something to try to change and get advantage of the defense. And every year the defense has to counter and try to, you know, get back in the right spot. It's like always like a game of chess. One guy's trying to outplay the other. So it's the same thing that works with defense when you go to a different scheme. You know, you just got to adjust your body, adjust your technique, adjust, you know, certain things you look at. I mean, I'm definitely not the same type of player as I was, you know, my third year in Baltimore than, you know, where I'm at now. Just a physical standpoint, even a mental standpoint. It's like so much that I've seen since then that I can look at certain stuff and know, you know, I can eliminate some issues, eliminate certain things. You know, talk to guys a certain way when I see things because, you know, I've just been in situations before. So I think that's really the biggest thing when it comes to, you know, looking at different stuff like that, just the time on task.